A lot of the Me Too movements are about people who they know who their attacker is. You know, for me, the guy who broke into my house was never caught, and he did it to dozens of other girls in my town, and they never found him, still to this day. Both my parents couldn't take care of me or my sister because they were drug addicts. We kind of bounced from house to house and shelters, and after I was about 7 years old, my grandparents took full custody of me and my sister and moved us to a small town. When I was 13, I was sexually assaulted by a man who broke into my house in the middle of the night. And from that point on, I hated everybody and I just disconnected. I think that's when I distanced myself the most from God, especially. At the time, I probably didn't know it, but I blamed him. Then I started falling into the same patterns as my parents. I started being involved with drugs and alcohol and sex and just didn't care at all. I completely lost myself. And when I was 17, being careless and reckless, I ended up getting pregnant with my daughter. Once I had her, I kind of started getting my life back together, but I wasn't connected. When I was in my early 20s, I met my current boyfriend, and he was like, why don't you come to church with me? And I was sitting there and I'm like, I'm covered in tattoos. I had a child out of wedlock. I was a drug addict. I was doing everything that you shouldn't be doing, like the ultimate sinner. And I was like, I'm going to burst into flames if I go into a church. And he was like, I found this church close to us, like let's go here. So we started coming to faith, and I was like, okay, this is good. I understand it now. I finally can follow, and I just still felt like, okay, I'm learning, but I don't feel it still. In the fall, right around my daughter's birthday, I started having some medical issues, and I knew that something wasn't right. I went to the doctor and they told me that I had abnormal cervical cells that could potentially lead to cancer, and immediately I just started flooding with like, I hate everything all over again. And along the whole way, my boyfriend and my family and his family was like, you need to pray about it. Talk to God because he's here for you. And I was like, it's not gonna help me. I'm gonna die. I'm not gonna be able to see my daughter grow up. And that was the hardest thing for me. I was like, why would I want to pray to somebody who's doing this to me? Probably about 6 months before all that happened is when I got my first Bible, and I didn't crack it open until this happened. Once I started fully reading it is when I finally felt like a peace. It took over, and I was like, you know what? This happened for a reason, and God did this for a reason. I just felt okay. Not too long after I felt that sense of peace, the doctor called me and she told me that my cells were nothing to worry about for right now. You know, I don't have cancer and we just have to monitor it. And ever since then, I was like, you know what, this is why. You know, he kept giving me blessings on blessings, and he kept being like, I'm here, I'm showing you I'm here, and I was completely ignoring him. Ever since then, I've just been so connected. In every service, I'm like, I feel fully invested, and like, I feel like God is talking to me. My daughter, since all of this too, she has been so involved with God, and we read her Bible every night, and I just see her, and it just makes me even more motivated to teach her and have her understand the same feelings that I have, that like God is here for me and he is by my side. And no matter what happens, if my cells come back one day and I do have cancer, I just know that with my faith in Jesus, and if I'm praying about it, he will be here for me regardless of what the outcome is. My name is Sammi, and I've decided to follow Jesus.